Hi, my name is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and also proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed MC, songwriter, producer, Kid Lacey. But he said I could call him the Kid. For more on Kid Lacey, you can read more about him right below this video. But in the meantime, here is a sneak peek at the incredible talent of this Renaissance man of a musician, Kid Lacey.
You can peek into my eyes, see the hell inside. You gon' picture a surprise, it's a Gemini. Two sides, I'm chucking the deuce side. Know that I get too high, I'm already too fly. Let the booth rise when we hit the la-la. Never feeling blue, cause I got the red in my eyes. Don't trip, my nigga, what you smoking? Post-its to remind me that I'm stuck in the mud. I hate the feeling like I'm fucking it up. It ain't nothing, I'd rather fuck up the beat and give you something to bump. Semi-automatic, but I'd rather spit with the pump. So you hear what I'm saying until the message is done. Call me a separatist cause you niggas elected a Trump. They wanna call it hip-hop, but why they sounded like punks? I let them shoot the shot so they can drop the draw when I dunk. Ugh, never better, I'm telling you it's a chess game. You gon' have to king me, then I'll take your Coretta. And Rello said we gon' be the big dogs like thoroughbreds running through the borough when Mello stepped in his element. I got it, fuck out of here with that fuck.
Well, hello, Kid Lacey. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing so much better talking with you, and I'm so excited that the audience just got a little sneak peek of your incredible talent. The Kid, I want to call you the Kid, and you said that was okay pre-interview. You're a Renaissance man. You do it all. You are an acclaimed MC, songwriter, producer, but you're more than that. And I want to deep dive into it all right now. The Kid, where were you born, and when did you realize you had this love of music?
Well, so I was born in Bronxville, New York, just outside of the city.
Born in Pelham Manor.
Really?
Right around the block, baby.
That's crazy. Yeah. And so I grew up I grew up for the first 5 years of my life in Mount Vernon. And then me and my family moved like further up north. But my dad is a reverend or a pastor. And so I grew up in the Baptist church. And so I was always surrounded by music, regardless if it was like records at home or if it was actually being in a choir. And so I guess I started actually singing or getting like involved with making music myself by just being in the choir and in the youth choir, which probably started in around, God, I mean, I was probably 6 or 7. So probably like as soon as we moved up to further up north in Westchester. And I knew that I didn't necessarily know that I liked it. Let's say I kind of just felt it because this was what I was doing. It was the family thing. We're all singing, blah, blah, blah. And it's something to do. But I won't say that I knew that I loved music or knew that it was something that I wanted to do until maybe 5th grade, 6th grade. So leaving elementary school and going into middle school. That was when SoundCloud, started to be accessible for me, and I could do remixes and YouTube and do covers and stuff like that. And so that was when I was actually like able to put a little bit, even if it was like short change, to put a little bit of my money where my mouth was,
Well, and speaking of money, great transition, my friend, because it was your love of hip hop that really came through after hearing the song Gold Digger. Talk to me about you bopping to Gold Digger and you're like, wait, time out. Okay, I love the church. I feel the spirit, but there's something about hip hop that's speaking to me.
So yeah, something about this is crazy. Yeah, and so it's funny, the aspect of money didn't even matter in the sense of me, attaching to the song. Because I'll tell you, I had to be probably 6 or 7 in this case, or maybe 7. Maybe 6 or 7, yeah, because I'm trying to think about when late registration had dropped. But regardless, I heard it on the radio because I'm not like picking my music just yet. I don't think I had an iPod just yet. And so I'm just listening to what's ever like coming into my ears. And so I don't have the brain power to necessarily, analyze that, what Kanye is talking about, in the sense of a gold digger, and she ain't messing with no broke people and whatnot. And so like, I kind of just fell in love with what he was doing with his words, what the production was doing in terms of like what it was sampling.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, from there it kind of just took me. I can't really explain it, but like,
Seems like you were attracted to the vibe. Sorry to interrupt, but you know, what I
yeah.
also, when I think about you, you know, I think about that you fuse all of these different musical styles and sensibilities
Mm,
and are doing it authentically and singularly, like, you know, many of the artists you've already mentioned. Don't
yeah.
do you agree?
No, I actually definitely agree. And that's a big thing about like the influence that I see and why Kanye. It's funny that my first love of hip hop is introduced by somebody like Kanye, who is very unorthodox, very, at least he's become the mainstream, but at least at this time, he was very much going against the mainstream.
Yeah.
A lot of people were counting him out because he was doing something like almost eerily authentic. Like nobody had been that real in the sense of not being a gangster, not being womanizer or whatever the case is, just being the dude from Chicago, with the backpacks and then the raps and whatnot. So I'm definitely, I definitely look up to like those people in terms of just being yourself,
And
and
being authentic. I mean,
uh,
look at Kid. I mean, you're a guy from Mount Vernon, around the block from where I grew up in Pelham, and
yeah.
then Bronxville. You know, I'm very familiar, but you are unapologetically releasing music that
Mm.
comes from you. You're not trying to be a second-rate version of someone else.
I,
And I think that not only is evident, but as I also said pre-interview, you're a renaissance man. And I say that in that I feel like despite you in your songwriting being so great,
mm.
performing so great, I feel like with you, there's a bigger plan with you. I feel like there's a brand thing that's going on that you might not even be or have realized. Have you? And you were saying you were talking to your friends about this the other day.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I was talking to my friend about it because one thing that my father always told me was that I was a Renaissance man, or that I had at least what it took. And so he pretty much like edged into my brain the legacy of Paul Robeson.
Mm.
And so
Ah,
yeah, right. And
you're
so
speaking my language, Kid.
no, I'm glad.
I
Yeah.
love that you're, by the way, sorry to interrupt. I
Mm,
hate saying this, but I also love that you're old school, that you have an old soul about you. You're speaking to someone who is, I should have been born in the 30s and like lived through the 40s, 50s, and 60s, because
mm,
that is the music, that is the vibe, that is that unapologetic,
yeah.
down and dirty and gritty. Anyway, I can go on a soapbox forever. God bless. It's not my therapy session.
But into that point, like that's crazy that you say that, because I always feel like, and that's why, I mean, and I never really necessarily been able to conceptualize it, but as to why I call myself the kid, it's kind of like a play on what it is, because, you wouldn't I mean, kids now are the future, but, that means that they have all the access to the past. And so like the future is really a big thing of just like understanding what came before and learning how to do it better, do it, differently, take what they did and blah, blah, blah. So I do a lot of, going back and old school researching and whatnot. But to the sense of like, the Paul Robeson and the Renaissance man, I definitely feel that. I mean, like the big thing for me is, I'm a musician. I like to call myself now, since going to college at NYU, I like to call myself a creative music entrepreneur, just because.
Amen.
Yeah, right. I see it as something that, because music is my baseline, I feel like regardless of what I end up doing, if I end up being the one on stage, if I'm managing somebody, if I'm doing A&R, or if I'm even, as you say, setting up a brand or setting up even an ulterior, company, that'll just help artists and whatnot. I'm not counting it out, So like, doing this music thing and being behind the mic is definitely what's getting me through now. But I see all the possibilities.
Oh, I love it. And I wish more kids thought of it that way, because I can relate. I was a performer professionally, God bless, for 25 years, from when I
Oh,
was 10 to 35, believe it or not.
that's
But
amazing.
but after headlining Carnegie Hall, I realized I want to give back to the artists that the confidence I was given. That's why I became a director and a
Yeah.
creator. And this is what I love about what I do, because I can take that vulnerability of what it is to be an artist into the room. And you already at such a young age have that 10, 20, 30,000 foot perspective, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying. I'm really,
You don't
really.
need to try, you're doing it. Stop it. Listen to me. I don't have much time, but I want to get this question out there.
Yeah.
In this horrible time that we've all been living through as artists, as people, I want to know for you, Kid, how your why statement and why you do what you do has been highlighted even more.
Oh yeah.
I know Barbara Walters' question, baby. I'm going in for the kill.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect to top it off. I mean, so for me, this pandemic has done a lot for me in terms of just really cementing my artistry. I've been going to, and I'm going into my senior year, thank God, at the Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music. And so since my freshman year, that's when I've really started to kind of understand that not only is this something that you want to do, not only is this something in your dreams, it's like now this is a palpable goal. Now this is, a career. This is something that you can really, really, I don't know, take by the reins, I guess. And so since this pandemic, it kind of threw off my initiation to, being real by those, standards, those quotations,
Right.
And so I thought that, when I got thrown and I ended up back in Westchester, for the past like 15 months, somebody said it to me today. And I was like, damn, I didn't think about that, and moving back to the city next month, crossing my fingers. But I thought that I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And that was kind of like a flawed way of thinking, just because I was like, oh, like, everything's thrown. I'm supposed to be in the city. I'm supposed to be doing this and this and that. But little did I know, that was exactly where I needed to be. I was able to sharpen my pen. I was able to, concentrate on, books, to keep it a buck, and start, just upping my knowledge in a bunch of different ways. And then lo and behold, I came out with my first project. And though it was years in the making, like 2 years in the making, so since I'd been to college, it was kind of like an anthology of all the songs, not all the songs. I kind of shaved it, but a good bit of the songs that I made, in my college experience. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't had to, buckle down and kind of just think about myself and where I am in life and what I can do.
Well, Kid, it also, you took the time to do the work. You
Yeah.
took the time to do the work. And as an artist, as we know, when we do the work on ourselves, our artistry becomes that much more sharpened. The tool becomes sharpened, but also I think that much more relatable. And listen, my friend, I am so grateful to have met you. I'm so grateful for your time today. And I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Kid.
Thank you.